that final mission waiting for him on high ground. 1v2 for the moment. Final two teams, Aqua and Vino. Looking to drop down. They have to take off Tripper. This man has clutched in the past. He's popping up with all the HP, going straight back into the zone. Look at this from Aqua and Vino. Perfect positioning. They're looking to finish this. Tripper desperately going for that med miss, maybe even going for a flank all the way up top, but Aqua sees him. A few more tags, building all the way up. He might have an essence of control. Another block by Aqua. The positioning almost perfect. Vino chases him down like a hound dog.
Bro, Aqua and Vino win again, bro.
These guys continue to be ruthless. They left day one as the victors, top of the lobby. They start day two with a victory royale. And against a team in the final moments who they have been hounding down all season long. We've seen Thomas and Tripper versus Vino and Aqua all season at Command Cavern. And showing us now in the FNCS finals while they are the Command Cavern team. Game 7 is theirs.
I think Aqua was using one hand and Vino had an eye closed that whole game. It felt effortless, like they were just sleeping behind the wheel.
Yeah, literally. It does not get easier for them than that. Right? Of course, the pullback zone meant that they could just sit back for a second, right? All the teams fighting it out below. But for real, they literally are now continuing to open up that gap at first place.
Yeah, that should have been a game that was very difficult for Height as well overall, right? It was such a south pole. They shouldn't have that many mats to use, but all those siphons those guys got right before the moving zones, that was the key, I feel like, in that game.
Well, look, to catch us up on everything that happened in between Height and low ground, we are kicking it back to the analysts.
Bro, I went to town
My goodness,
for a
game
move
number
audition.
1. So in case you missed that on the action yesterday, in case you didn't know who was in first,
bro.
that was the duel right there. They come out after first 6 games. Game 7, they're like,
And
you know
you, what are you
Victory
doing?
Royale. That's finals? Best in the world? We'll do it. I mean, Victory Royale, let's be real. These guys, I was kind of concerned. I said at the top of the show, are they going to be able to continue that rampage they put on yesterday? They won 2 games back-to-back yesterday. This is the
Bro,
third
these guys
Victory
are too
Royale
good.
they've had
Aqua
out
and
of
Vino.
7 games. I have
Aqua
no
form,
concerns that these guys are going to continue this reign.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy what they're able to do when they get to the stage of endgame. What I really like about the way they play is they're very opportunistic. We saw it yesterday. The opportunity was presented to them in this game. We saw Vidil and Noah rally up on the high ground, but unfortunately Vidil went down. So Aqua and Vino, they thought, there's a high ground free there. We might have that, and we might dominate from there as they always do. Only 5 eliminations, I think it was at the end. So
Hey, yo, chat, what you wanna play?
when it comes to eliminations. But what's most crucial is Vino's able to pick up eliminations and refresh.
Wala, umunjukkan
Every single
bro.
time. Every game we watched yesterday, whether Aqua was down, whether he was up,
Am I too
Vino was
close to the
always
camera,
able
bro?
to get some sort of important refresh. Something. It's just like, he could just do it when he mattered. It's like, oh, 5th zone needs something. Right now, I'm going to be able to do it. I can turn that aggression on. We can figure that one out. Fantastic from him, and of course, leading by Aqua as well. I mean, right, finding those duels and saying, all your stuff is now ours. We're going to use that to fuel us, get that victory out. Really good stuff. On the other side, though, Trippin, right, he was left alone without Thomas HG, and I just wonder if Thomas was available, how this could have gone different. I mean, realistically, probably amazingly. We've seen both these players solo clutch at some point, but when they work as a duo, it is absolutely amazing. We saw them win, I think it was game 1 yesterday, if I'm right. They did pick up a victory royale yesterday, and that was perfect. They were working together. They were side by side. But here, poor launch pad placement, well, not placement, position to land in a congested area, and of course, they ended up being punished for it, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. But we can see, look at the position that Trippin's in right now. That was 20 teams remaining, was it? Unbelievable scenes. And he made his way all the way through every single blockade that was left in the game, every single player, every single challenge, every single mini-boss to quote Shio there. And he was able to take them all down one by one, able to pick up the refreshes. And I think what's most important about the way that Trippin played this is he wasn't playing passively. He wasn't playing back. He wasn't playing a little bit more slow. He was playing aggressively. He was picking up eliminations. He was picking up refreshes. And that was what was able to keep him going. What a performance.
Oh, it was incredible. And I also love there, like, the very final at the end. He was going up against Vanya, right? That was that 1v1 there. And Vanya absolutely beamed him almost 100, 200 HP with that SMG, essentially, almost in one. And if it wasn't for that huge amount of damage, that could have been a much better potential for the clutch, because he couldn't heal up all of that afterwards.
Now we're going to take a look at our standings, of course. Seti and Kenny,
Lulu
they're
might
moving
join
up.
the
Skyway
stream.
just feeling really good. But look at this lead that Bino and Aqua, of course, Tyson and Chapitz have developed. We still have 5 more games. Anything can still happen, but if this continues, man, we might be looking at our winners.
I mean, this is incredible. Also, I think an important note here was the fact that Mustache and Malabuka didn't really gain many points here either. And the fact that Trippern just clutched up there has moved him up 4 places now. So now he's in 5th, and Mustache and Malabuka's 3rd place is not looking so strong anymore.
Yeah, solid performance, of course, from Restaurant fans as well. Pick up refreshes, eliminations where it matters most. But Riz, what have we got for us?
Got a little bit of something for you here. Okay. We're going to have a little look at Tayson and Chapix's rotates from the collider, right? What we're going to do is lay out what the arrows look like, the path they took to get down there, and then also show you why this didn't necessarily work out that much. Now, if you're remembering what the previous zone was, remember, very south. Very south. And now you can see the big swooping arrow going down to the south here. Now, they did a really good thing when they were in the collider to start with. What they ended up doing was using the cannons, right? The cannons has what we've basically seen a couple of times to be one of the best ways to rotate from here on out, because you can just fire yourself into the middle of the collider, as we're about to see here, and it'll send you in a specific direction. However, these guys have this planned. Notice where they land. Right next to a second cannon there as well. Fantastic, so that you can cannon off to another rotate. So from here on out, this looks fantastic. This looks like a great rotate. But for some reason, they decided to actually try and go to the far east side of the map now to avoid a bunch of the players behind them and below them. This then got them way too deep in the zone. And as you can notice, 29 above, and this was a fully south zone at this point. So you remember, there's nowhere they can get tags here. So basically on this rotate, because they were so deep in zone, they essentially ended up training at their launch pads, a ton of their chug splashes, and I'm not gonna lie, massive plot for them to still be able to place 10th from this rotate.
Yeah, let's be real. I mean, it's Chapix and Tayson. They were able to pick up refreshes, they were able to pick up eliminations where it mattered most. I think it was Joe that they took out, just capitalizing on the fact that he was a solo down there at the south side of the map. And it did work out for them in the end, but hopefully they can do more.
So good. And that was just game number 1 on the day. We have game number 2 on the day on the way. Of course, this is game 8 overall, but it's that time. The battle bus is ready for us, so I'm not going to hold you here too much longer. This is game 8 of the FNCS.
Let's go to game 8.
I mean, Zeke, Reese, Mini, the knowledge, cannon chains, low ground claims, a few differences on the second day, but what hasn't changed is Vino and Aqua's dominance.
Yeah, these guys clearly aren't stopping anytime soon. We're going to start getting to the point where we are sort of talking about, all right, so who's fighting for second, right? Who's fighting for third, right? Because these guys are just on an absolute roll. We talk about all-time FNCS performances. They clearly are trying to put one in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost untouchable by more than half the lobby.
Stream hadi
One team,
East.
Jason and Chapix is kind of near.
Tuh,
Sunny and
klik
Kenny
sakit
are getting
bro.
to that island, but being this high, I feel like I'm already looking at that second place POV.
Yeah, honestly, it does start to feel that way as we head into that next game. The big question will be, can Aqua continue their dominance? Will anybody be able to finally catch them up? Who will show what they can do as we head into the last couple games of the FNCS? That remains the question.
Pushing for a few more games. Remember, there are big changes in pricing all the way across the board for even some of the teams that are 40th, maybe dead last and 50th right now. You can rise to the occasion, have a few more good games, change your destiny for this FNCS so far.
There is always something to play for, even if it is just pride. And at the
I have to find that nasty one,
plenty
bro.
of pride being felt for the team that wins this fight. Savid wants to be on that side of things.
No way.
Going down. It's Bruback that will take him out, and Jack Pro looks like he might be following him. Hit some nice shots onto Fury, a bit of a HP trade. And the knock will come through. Doesn't seem like he'll get the finish, but prioritizing, looking to heal up. Will Bruback chase him down? Bruback actually will get his finish onto Savid, the siphon coming in. And so now a fight here in the jail cells. Will come out on top. They're in the same box now. It's just a stare separating them. And Bruback wants to get rid of that.
Bisaka. Bro, Bisaka is... lonely, bro.
Will go his way. Savid and Jack Pro continue their struggles.
Bisaka had this PlayStation.
As well.
No, it's gone.
We like to see it. What that is too is a fast fight at the Joneses. Didn't see that in the previous games at all. What I like to see is how
bro,
these
four
guys
more games, bro. Then we're in the East.
Moving in from the right side. Zone locking in. It's completely Western zone with a little bit more of that big circle of Zone 1 inside the water. What that means for a team like Restguard is it might be time to move faster than usual. For the east side of this Fortnite Island 11, they're now put on a much faster
is number
time.
6.
Yeah, that's really one of the reasons why it's good that Jones's fight went a lot quicker than some of the ones
finals.
you can't afford to
Unajua aliqualify Semi-finals.
fighting in the zone or
Hit one.
chasing your way in. We see the effects of that. You end up spending so much of the resources you work so hard to acquire.
And right now
Me.
for Use
See
the
me
ring,
on my
we like
right
to call
team,
him
bro.
Max Force. Not sure if he is Max Force today.
Both
Max
of them.
Force on
Both of
stream.
them have their names. Max Force and Maxry.
Maxry, yes. Very, very true. They're doing the opposite of what we're claiming, right? Finisher, fight fast, run straight to the zone. They're going all the way down to the south. This is kind of a western, maybe towards the north as well. It's where the zone tends to pull when this first one locks in. They're kind of setting their own traps right now. They're going to be lost in the zone soon.
Well, that is definitely the case. I think they'll hope that they can close this one out quickly. They've already picked up one of these eliminations, and so just cleaning it up, making sure you get the final player.
Number 12
But this is one of the other sides of Surge, right? We spent a lot of game one talking about how, you know, you'll look for good positions and try and get tags when you're sitting on a hill or something.
Kami
A lot of these
split.
teams will also look for these isolated fights, right, in the edges of the map. Because, you know, Axels and Yushi, they knew there's not going to be anybody near us right now. We have time to fight an actual 2v2 or 2v1 in that instance. And so they deal with their Surge that way, and then they can focus on getting into the zone.
Walishatuonyesha hii.
Oh, fire in a fight of his own as well.
Oh.
Went crazy on all sides.
Kwani Man City ni Og pia?
Trying to see if they can just
I know
relieve
Man
this
City
pressure
threats.
right now. Scram will not be able to do it with Bill. Try to use bullets instead, but not sure if
You
the
know there was
vocabulary
Man
that's starting
City
with B's
scram.
to help them at all for the moment. The Siptos
Deceptors.
reason finally looking alive. 35th so far. At one point, 50th overall. They're climbing the rankings slowly.
Mowed them down. Very interesting, right? Because one of the big things we talked about endlessly coming into the finals was, would anybody dare to trespass in the Butter Barn area? Would anybody step to the Siptos and Reason, the bosses of this area? And in this game, it doesn't quite work out. And what that means now as well for the Siptos and Reason is that they have their own whiplash. Right? Something that I'm sure they will
No,
be
they have their
ecstatic
own
about,
cab,
something that they
bro.
probably
These
didn't
guys.
anticipate having in
Better
many games. And
engage.
so we'll see if they can make great use of it in this game. Of course, one of the few vehicles that you can actually get in competitive anymore. And so in some respects, it's a huge advantage for positioning and timing. You're much quicker than everybody else who just are running on feet. But also, you stick out like a sore thumb. The only vehicle in the game, everybody decides it's their time to take shots at you once they see you. And even if just taking out your tires, right, can almost immobilize you in that sense.
No repair torch in competitive playlists, so there's no way to get those tires back either. Snazy might not have a whiplash, might not have tires, but still looking to drive through and roll over this team below him and put aside. Looking for a few shots, not going to find many right now. They're both going to be affected a little bit by the retaliation from this basement team. Flois and Mappy looking to clap back in this fight, also on a timer. It's Edge Zone 11. You mentioned moments ago. It's really good to take
Position
excellent fights
31.
here.
Sasa
For that
position
score, so
50
there's a
ako
third team coming in, looking to take a bite of the pie.
Kitambo, bro.
Yeah, and this fight isn't as isolated, right? A lot of these teams towards the east of the map obviously congregating around this area. And Flois and Mappy feeling the effects of that now as shots are coming from all different angles and sides. Snazy gets taken out. Mappy hitting big, putting the weight of the team on his shoulders and delivering. Both eliminations going to him. Siren and Nazi will hear this fight though. And as they're one of the teams with less experience, they instantly want a third party and they will. Siren takes out Flois. Mappy now, even after hitting such huge shots, there's only so much he can do. The med miss might get him up to 100 effective HP. But will he be able to fend off against these two young, hungry players who need damage for Storm Surge? It's very unlikely. They're looking a lot stronger than he is when it comes to their HP. And they will just wipe him out. Mappy, the highs and lows of a competitive Fortnite game, was on top of the world after hitting two, but swiftly taken out by the Arcadia duo.
That's the equivalent of, here's a math lesson, a sinusoidal function. So if you wanted a lesson today, if you have an advanced functions class and you wanted a reminder of studying some notes, it's slightly advanced, but, you know, it goes up and down.
Well, my maths is very limited, but I can count. And I count that this is the team in second place.
Very nice.
Yeah.
That's also very advanced. You have to know where to look. You have to know that 2 is under 1. Usually it goes 1, 2, right? But in this instance, it's different.
How can they go from 2 to 1?
Pray that Vino and Aqua fall asleep at their PCs. Because I feel like a bad game for Vino and Aqua is, for half this lobby, a